Yeah.
Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live.
Hey.
2022 Hot 6 GSL SuperTournament, Season 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the final day of the GSL Super Tournament. We're going to go through the round of 4, of course, all the way into the finals. It's been an amazing Super Tournament so far. We've got a couple possible finals that could be coming here. Maru Dark, the most likely one. What are you doing, Artos?
Normally you look smudged. I'm sorry.
I know. That's right. I'm glad that divider's down.
Oh, go ahead.
Artosis has just received his booster yesterday. You said you're feeling a little bit tired. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sore, too.
I know. I hope you can make it through this cast.
I know. Yeah.
Artosis.
It's like I went to the gym without going to the gym. You should try it. It's amazing.
Believes in the vaccine, but still thinks the world is flat. I can't figure it out. Anyways, this finals that we could have here could be a match we've seen so many times before here, Maru Dark, but there's a chance of some upsets for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, they've never played Tasteless. Imagine. I should have built that up actually and sold that to you, like trying to really
Over
trick
time,
you.
Really. And you wouldn't believe these guys have never actually crossed paths in a tournament before.
That would be completely impossible. But yeah, the tournament's been really good so far. A lot of 3-0s overall.
A surprising number of 3-0s, and not just like stomps from one side where we thought that that was the obvious outcome. A lot of 3-0 upsets in the Super Tournament. I think more than we've had in any Super Tournament in the past.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It's been kind of wild, but our top 4 is actually really, really awesome. It's so good to have Zoun back in good shape. He looked really weaker in the last couple tournaments compared to the few turns he played before that.
Right.
So he's looking very strong again. Obviously, Maru a killer, Dark a killer as always. And Zest has been very strong for like a year right now. So it's a good lineup. This is a great round of 4. We got all 3 races and 2 Protoss, exactly how it should be.
The golden ratio is here.
Protoss, Zerg, Terran. No, Protoss, Dark or Rogue, Maru. That's
usually more
a perfect round of 4 right there.
Yeah, we have a couple Protosses overshadowed by the guys that win basically everything.
Yeah.
Now, I think Zest is maybe the least likely to be advancing to the finals. I think Zoun does have a real shot. He's looking very modern, very good.
Yeah.
Zest is...
You should call him Jest.
I don't say that in jest, but Zest, he's using a lot of the style that he's had in the past, but he's had some really rocky games.
It's weird, isn't it? Like some of his decision making seemed really off. Some of his micro was not amazing. But overall, I think strategically, the overall build order choices, the build orders themselves, a lot of the broad strokes were really fantastic. So it was a very different Zest. It didn't look quite right, though. You're right. It was like a little off against Buddy.
Yeah, and people have off days where their control is not spot on. I think if he's made whatever adjustments he needs to make and is in better, mental shape right now, he could be in good, at least in shape enough to make Maru work for the win.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's hard to imagine Maru not coming out on top here against Zest. Maru is very immune to all sorts of pressure builds and timings. He doesn't really seem to lose like that almost ever.
Well, Maru's just the best, man. He is in such good shape as well. I think he's a favorite for basically everything right now, especially with Rogue out. So yeah, I definitely look towards him. But honestly, if Zest just cleans up what he was doing against Bunny, there is the possibility we see Zest beat Maru. Zest can't, he's the only guy that ever beat Rogue in a best 7.
True.
He can do anything.
We got to see what kind of range of play Zest is going to bring in here. And Maru is well known to be sometimes very passive, but other times extremely aggro, proxying quite a bit. We're going to jump right into the first match here. It's going to be on a hard wire. Zest vs. Maru in this best of 5 to get to the GSL Super Tournament Finals.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest.
Oh, applause in the audience.
Oh my God, there's an audience.
There's an audience here.
No, it's pretty awesome.
Team NV.
I would say it's packed, but it's pretty spread out as well. But all the seats are taken.
It's as packed as can legally be. We've got to have the seats spaced out. Yeah, I mean, welcome to the studio, those of you, the English listeners. We haven't had an audience in here in, I want to say, somewhere in the middle of last year, so maybe in 8 months, 9 months, something like that.
Oh, I think it was a little bit more recent than that. Like, didn't the last GSL Finals we had an audience, or no? Or maybe it was the one before that?
I think it was the one before that.
Okay.
I could be confused.
Right.
But it's good to kind of see stuff slowly coming back to normal here. So very hyped to have an audience here, and I think you guys are going to be in for a real treat. I mean, with Super Tournament on the last day, you're going to get so many good games.
Yeah, and I think the finals is going to look really nice, whoever's in it.
For sure.
This is kind of the match where I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, Zest is pretty beastly when he plays well, so I'm hoping for that. The probe scouting a little bit, everything looking pretty normal. Looks like Cybernex core into Nexus for Zest. Maru, no quick scout or eBay block or anything like that. Going for a Marine immediately.
Yeah, these are very middle-of-the-road builds so far here. We don't see any clear direction that either player really wants to take the game into. We've got Maru trying to, you know, block a little bit in case there would be a CC down there, but now the Marine's going to go and chase him away. CC made in the main, not wanting to waste any time at all.
He's being awfully careful, isn't he?
I was actually a bit surprised to see the CC not delayed and then put it the natural. We actually don't see Maru do that very often, but I guess this is him nodding to Zest's overall playstyle, knowing that a lot of what Zest does when he wins is really hinged on getting in there at a very specific point in time and doing an overwhelming amount of damage to either win the game or to cripple the opponent to the point where the closer is very easy. So I think him erring on the side of caution here, throwing the CC down in the main and dialing it back a little bit is definitely something we don't see Maru do that often, but yeah, a nod of respect for sure towards Zest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that, but the pro was up there for long enough that it really looked like it was going to be a command center build, so it's not. And he put it kind of far back, so it's like semi-hidden. So I guess there's some question for Zest. But honestly, you look at early build orders, and you gotta give a slight nod to how Zest is doing in this game. I mean, it's not game-ending or anything, obviously, but you know, he just has slowed Maru down slightly, which is these are the types of edges that you're going to need to gain throughout the game against Maru.
There's also a way to approach a series like a best of 5, best of 7 by being very conservative and basically putting out feelers, seeing, okay, like how aggressive are they going to be? What do the first couple strategies look like? You know, do they look like desperate plays, or are they very unusual? Or are both players going to play pretty standard, pretty conservative, and kind of see where the other side's at? And right now, that seems to be the case for both these players.
Yeah, now the Adept shades under the command center, sees that. Oracle going across the map, and he is going into Twilight and 3 gateways from there. This is a wonderful scout.
Oh, almost lost the mine. That would have been a pretty unusual snipe. Normally it's the other way around, Bruce.
Yeah.
And actually gets that mine, and this is actually quite bad here for Maru.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, one of those mines is probably 5 HP or under away from being killed. It could be one-shotted. So Zest winning on a couple different levels here. The obvious one is the kills on the SCV, but to take out one mine, oh, hold on.
Okay, that's a great move from Maru.
That's,
but this was still net good for Zest, I think.
Right.
4 SCVs, a mine, dealing damage to another one. That's pretty awesome.
But big brain play there from Maru
Yeah.
to kind of take this opportunity and say, all right, you know, obviously the Oracle is going to head back, so let me set up a trap and kill it off. And I think that's the best that Maru could do in this given situation. I mean, you have to consider the fact that basically there's no way a Widow Mine drop is going to work with 1 injured mine and then 1 other mine. You know, the whole reason why you have 3 is it's enough collateral that you're throwing out there that the Protoss has to really work to take it out.
Totally.
So good play there.
Yeah, really, really nice. Pairs those up right away. Did you see how many SCVs he pulled to repair that mine, Tasteless? He was repairing with like 7 SCVs. It's too bad that Zest hadn't followed up with Phoenix and lifted it in the air so he could have repaired it with 8 SCVs, but you know, you do what you can with what you have. Yeah.
Forge coming down, by the way. And even a pylon over here near the 4th base. We have a 3rd on the way here. He hasn't made a 4th yet, but if he's going to take one, it will probably be down here hugging the bottom. But Maru's moving out, and it's a bit of a ragtag army here from Maru, to be totally honest. We have a medevac that's over here kind of as a distraction, like a decoy. But it's just Marines and a tank. Now, attacks like this can throw a Protoss off, but it can be a bit of a double-edged sword. The reason why we don't normally see just Marines and tanks and no medevacs moving out together is because if you start to lose the fight, you lose everything. These
Oh,
oh man, 8 kills. Hold on, Maru's set up over here. Now, is this enough?
Oh, I think this is breakable for sure.
Yeah.
But that mine drop was fantastic. He killed the Liberator before it got any damage in the main base. Blinks forward immediately onto the tank and will be able to kill that off. Stands right on top of the Marines.
Yeah, probably
I feel
should
like he could have
spread out
slightly more than that. But
Oh, I totally agree. I think he had an opportunity to kite a little bit more. Interestingly enough, it's almost like the Marines and the tank were the decoy in that case, and the Widow Mine drop was really the attack that was intended to deal all the damage. I think this is the new home of the medevac here in the bottom left corner of the map.
Phoenix being made to clean that out, so that's a smart move. Maru continuing to macro up over here. You see he is making that third CC at his natural. Oh, the Stalker's going to come up and poke that a little bit, slow that down, so that's all right. But yeah, I mean, even after that, you can see Zest is still up like 8 workers. Right? He's still got good tech. He's got that forge going and everything. Charge on the way. Templar Archives, Robo.
Execution style here.
Execution.
Any final words?
Oh. It's like, is that what we're calling the build sessions? Oh, it's the Phoenix, yeah. Yeah, he didn't even try to get that back in.
Yeah, I thought he might try to just boost it up into the main and maybe drop something. So
at some point, some of those actions become a bit useless, right?
Right, it's better to just forget about it and go on to the next thing. By the way, the push timing should be set up here for Maru. All his necessary upgrades are about to finish. He is having this huge explosion in production and growth, but it is like many of the modern TVPs that we've seen before, it is 2 base versus 3 base. The burden is really on the Terran to try to curb the growth of the Protoss, if not end it entirely.
But honestly, like, even though some things have gone poorly for Zest, I think he's putting out like a really strong game. He's about to be on 10-gate charge. He's adding some High Templars, getting ready for that Storm, and that's going to be ready before Maru can actually hit him. Now, I think Maru can take his third, and it's not like he's gonna lose it right away or something like that. But yeah, I gotta say, I think that Zest is still in a good spot here. I think he's putting out a wonderful game, but one thing I do want to point out is that nice Ghost Academy that we see from Maru.
Yeah.
Getting that before the Storm is done, so important. Only a few Terrans seem to do that.
Well, it seems like if you don't get that tech, you have nothing to engage with in the end game here. But I thought actually, and I was saying earlier in the cast, Maru's going to push out an attack now. I was wrong. He's actually dialing it back and taking a third and playing a pretty patient game, which is going to allow Zest to take a fourth. And by the way, a kind of funny location, the spot he's expanded to.
But that might be a little bit more defendable for him, honestly.
It could be. It's almost as if this is a buffer base for the base below it, if that makes sense. Even though it looks like a funny spot on the map, I suppose there's actually some pretty good ideas at play here. If you're to take the very bottom right, I think you're going to get pulled apart with drops in your main or pushes down there. Now, Storm drops come in over here. Not as many kills as I think you might expect. It takes out 6 SCVs total.
Oh, nice feedback there. And I think you got to recall this. You don't want to lose this.
Well, absolutely not. You need to bring this back home.
Oh my God, it's scary. It's scary. All right, second Robo, as well as that Colossus tech on the way. Throwing out an Immortal as well. A lot of charge lots being made. That fourth base is up for Zest now as well. I gotta say, like, nothing seems off for Zest. Maru's like 3-pronged attack did get some damage, but overall this just looks really solid. He's getting, like, his second form of splash is making right now, and that's where Protoss becomes very difficult to kill.
It's when the splash from Protoss all combines together to where, you know, Terran is absorbing damage in such a way that it's very tough to recover from. The center of the map's been opened up now, and it looks like actually Zest is going to come in here, and this is a puny army in comparison. Takes out the medevacs as well as everything else we see. Tries to go for the Warp Prism, but Maru fails in that attempt, as this is just going to be an army that will attempt to trample over the position that Maru has over here in the north.
Well, the Zealots couldn't have been less efficient there, so maybe he ends up holding. Some nice storms go down. The auto turret's coming out to help out as well.
Well, he's taken out the tanks, and more Zealots have filled in this position. I think Maru may have been a little bit too conservative, and had now lost any earlier opportunities to try to damage Zest. He's going to push it up here to the top 12 o'clock base. We have some Marauders and Marines on the side coming in. If Maru's going to survive, he needs to do it right now, but more Zealots coming from the bottom, wiping out this force on the right. I think that's GG.
Yeah, that's too much damage. No one comes back from this. GG.
Damn,
beautifully done game from Zest. Like, even losing those probes, the Widowmite drop, like, he held everything else well enough. And the thing is, his build was completely badass. Like, you know, he slowed that command center a little bit, went into Oracle, you know, quick blink there with a quick third base, and just, he nailed it, man. He macroed really well. His micro was good enough. And yeah, that was a superbly played game out of Zest. And it didn't feel like Maru played poorly in particular, right?
No, I think Maru played pretty well, but you know, when that initial group of the 2 medevac units worth of Maru stuff were picked off immediately, you know, it really leaves an opening here for Zest to actually come across the map. But, you know, we've talked about this matchup in general. Sometimes it does seem like Terra needs to end the Protoss before the Protoss can really get started in the late game.
Yeah.
Game start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Team NV, Maru.
Okay, so one thing about Zest and winning that last game that it's kind of cool to see is, like, that was actually a pretty conservative Zest back there. I mean, he's showing a bit of a wider range of play. He's also looking a lot cleaner than he did in the round of 8.
Yeah, his decision-making was much better. His micro was a bit stronger as well. But yeah, it was a very Zest build. Like, he got away with the skimpiest of skimp the whole time, and expanded his economy really quickly and macroed up super fast, like went up to 10 gates. His Stalkers, like, even if Maru made a beeline to him, his Stalkers bought him exactly enough time in that type of situation, even though Maru didn't do that, that he would have had an additional 10 charge lots when Maru got there. So it was like, it was beautifully put together from Zest. That was some scary PvT.
It really was.
That's like, there's no, like, really clear weak spot in there.
And I want to really really hit home with this in talking about what Zest did back there, because I think a lot of times when people think about a StarCraft game, they think about, like, okay, so what's your strategy? What are you going for? What is, you know, you try to hit him here with this timing, or you fake him out and then you do this.
Yeah.
But there really is an art form to just cutting corners and, you know, and not even really doing that much other than kind of defending well and outgrowing them. It's a very frustrating way to play against.
Yes, well, that's like the hallmark of the best players. Yeah, is that they can get away with that. Like, anyone can take a risk and flip a coin, but when you see a player that does what Zest just did very well, that's so intimidating, because you got to bring something really special to beat them, or do what they're doing as well as they're doing it, and that's pro gamer moves right there.
It really is. Like, when you're playing against somebody and, like, everything you try just kind of fails barely because they're doing such a good job at being in the right position at the right time, at you know, never overdoing it with making units. They have always got a base right when you check for it. It's really the sign of a good player. So it's kind of incredible to see that Maru actually loses to Zest on that front. I mean, Maru is you know, obviously known for probably the widest range of Terran play that we have. Yeah. You know, everything from proxying, you know, barracks several games in a row to going toe-to-toe with the best macro Zergs in a split map situation and winning. But to see Zest basically just hang with Maru and then outpace him and then eventually lap him is pretty crazy.
And, you know, Maru, he's going to have to do a little bit better this time. He does open up with Reactor, 2 Hellions into some mines. Medevac on the way as he floats the command center down. So semi-similar opening, but obviously with the Reactor factory instead. Now, ooh, that's already placed. Is the Oracle going to fly right over that? Is he going to Gumi-Ho the hell out of this Oracle?
Let's see. People don't do this as much anymore. Okay. Oh man.
Okay, he sees 2 mines, so he knows that's what there is. So once again, the Oracle will do some reasonable damage.
Not the best control. They're kind of splitting damage across a couple SCVs. But, you know, this is already more damage than the last Oracle did in the previous game. Maru even a little bit lackluster here with
dude, that's insane damage.
Keeping up. I mean, 8 SCV kills early on is basically unheard of against Maru. Now, that said and done, there's a medevac coming in here with 2 Hellions. It's full of Widow Mines, but this Phoenix interception is insane. Dude, are we about to see Zest like 2-0?
3-0 Tasis.
3-0 Maru. It just won another one of the biggest upsets yet.
Yeah,
this is
it
crazy.
does look that way.
So we've seen Maru in, frankly, one of the rare occurrences in any GSL tournament ever. We've seen Maru lose on 2 major fronts in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
8 ACVs lost back at home. Medevac with Hellions and Widowmine drops shut down, and a lot of those units hemorrhaged in that process for Maru as well. So if, you know, the last game Zest made look pretty easy, this game should be a cakewalk.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. This is a terribly hard situation here for Maru. I noticed that he has 4 mines. This could turn into one of those games where I guess. Oh no, he's still making. Hold on, let's see if he starts 2 more mines. Because the one thing, okay, he floats it over. So I was gonna say, you know, there is that one Maru move that only he seems to be able to pull off, where you end up making like 30 mines and you lose all of them and 5 medevacs, but eventually you kill all the probes, you know?
Yeah, it's like by the time the 4th drop comes in, you're like, now it paid for itself, you know?
But no, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I don't know what Maru's supposed to do to come back from here, because look at this. The 3rd Nexus is going to be finishing. Zest is up 18 workers right now. And he's going up to 10 gates. It's like so the same exact build as that previous game.
Yeah, well, I mean, Zest may be able to just come in and garbage compact Maru here with the amount of units he's going to have. The fact that Maru invested mostly in these technical units like Widow Mines that really you know, need to build momentum in the harass to then, like you were saying later on, maybe they pay off. The fact that he was shut down on that many fronts, I'm not sure what the play is for Maru. I mean, he might want to try to sit on 2 bases and just power up, but I think even then he's just going to have to take a 3rd later, and he'll be in the same situation, only worse from game 1.
Dude, Zest is next level. He's making proxy gates on both sides. Did you see that?
Yeah, you're
down
right.
At 6 in the top right.
I was looking at you when we were talking. I only noticed the one at the top right. That's actually pretty crazy.
We never see that.
Now, frankly, this is something we should just see more often. If everybody continues to train and improve, this only makes sense. It's kind of like when we saw the 2nd Nidus Worm.
Yes,
and it's
that's
like,
what I was thinking too.
Yeah, obviously, there's no reason to just get 1 Nidus Worm. There's no rule. It's not like a Warcraft 3 hero where you can only have 1 of them. So why wouldn't you make 2 or even 3 Nidus Worms and hit multiple locations? It's like, what is the cost of this? 250 minerals? Yeah, just put another one over there, and you've got another launching pad for attacks. And there really is no safe 2nd base location and no way to not be counterattacked in this position.
And don't forget, a lot of times if you hold off like an attack or whatever, and then you clear the proxy gate, you feel like you can move forward. But then there's another one!
That's right. A 4th base, by the way, for Zest. The walls are closing in here on Maru.
Yeah.
In a GSL Super Tournament that's had more 3-0s than any Super Tournament before it, and many upset 3-0s, this one might still be the biggest upset. I mean, if we get to 2-0 and then 3-0 after this and Zest moves on, I don't even know what to say, man.
Pretty wild. Those Phoenixes definitely have not done the greatest job. Oh, he's going to keep... Well, I mean,
weirdly enough, I think it's fine for Protoss because the Zealots can just kind of overwhelm this. Now, the control's actually very sloppy. He basically had a bunch of Zealots get sucked through into where the Marines were while everything else targeted the bunker. So that was about as fortunate of an exchange for Maru as is StarCraftily possible.
Yeah, yeah. That definitely was not perfect charges there.
It was very bad control by Zest.
It looked, the way that Zest attacked in, it looked like what SOS said about charge, where he's like, yeah, I don't know, you go and you hope for good connections on the charges.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we didn't get it that time, Zest. That's okay, we can try again. You have a big economy, it's all right.
Well, I mean, this really does leave a small opening here for Maru. He can comfortably take a third base. I think in a different set of parameters and how those units engage, it's possible that Zest had a really incredibly high amount of damage on Maru that might have made Maru stay back on 2 base for a little bit longer, ultimately leading to an end of the game. If not then, maybe a little bit later on. But you know, Maru is able to come up for air, getting that third base, making him, you know, his whole comp a little bit more valuable, making growth a little bit more of a possibility. But again, this is still a clear advantage for Zest.
Yeah, he's still ahead. He has double Robo Colossus going. His Stalker's kind of patrolling the sides. He does have those 4 bases up, so still has a slight economic advantage as well. Look at this. As everything goes over towards those Stalkers, he does attack in here, but honestly, that setup from Maru is so good. That's like, we gotta give some credit where credit's due right there. Like the far back placement of the siege tank, as well as a couple mines there. It was just enough that Zest was like, we can't really do this. So very nice setup. Some of those defensive positions, like it's hard to figure it out. Like
there's like a way you could chain the location of the Widow Mines and the tanks, and even having the CC there, that it sort of messes with the toggling of each of the AIs and the Zealots charging in to make it inefficient as they try to move in. Now, he's going to try to force a fight over here. And again, we're kind of having split attention as far as the Protoss army goes. Some things attacking the command center producing, others attacking the army here. But he's pushed now through the natural, is going to come on top of the tank and kill that off as well. And I think this game is over. And we're going to see Zest now 2-0 Maru. I cannot believe these results. This Super Tournament just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah, that was a very impressive game once again from Zest. And Maru, like I came into today thinking Maru was going to really crush Zest, that this might be our most one-sided match, but Zest right now looking much better than he did against Bunny, honestly, and he looked pretty darn good in the first couple games against Bunny as well.
I mean, it's weird to see Maru get wrecked so badly, like in games like that, you know?
Yeah.
I think we could chalk that one up to 2 very extreme situations early on. The SCV is killed, numbering 8 from one Oracle.
Yeah.
The Phoenix is intercepting the first medevac with Widow Mines going across the map. I mean, that is an incredibly crippling blow. Now, if anybody can come back 3 games in a row, it's Maru. But I got to say, man, Zest is looking better than ever. And honestly, I don't want to say like improving his style, almost reinventing his style in the series.
Yeah, and like he actually did a very interesting change on the build order. I'll talk about that in a second though, because we are about to get in there. Let's do it. Glittering Ashes. Get your ashes ready.
Get your urns ready.
Start. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Team NV, Maru.
So one thing I want to mention there, right? Like the previous game, it was like Oracle directly into Blink. This game, it was Oracle into some Phoenixes. So Maru may have looked at that and said, oh, this is the same build as before. So he flies directly through the middle of the map, and the Phoenixes just went out and caught him. Because, like, generally with Stalkers, you won't stand them out front in the middle. You'll stand them on the edges near the mineral lines, right, to stop Widow Mine drops that you know are coming. So Maru went through the middle, and the Phoenixes caught him. So it's, you know, we talk a lot about that really old match of Squirtle versus the Terran group, where you had like 5 different builds that all looked the same in the beginning. That was like a variation on that type of idea, right, where it looked exactly the same, but it actually was different, and that's what helped him to catch that.
Yeah, it's when one build can set up to complement the other one. and they both look like they're well, they both are starting from the same origin points, but then when it diverges, the setup is actually there.
And there's no way for Maru to tell that until he sees the Phoenixes, so cool game.
Yeah, so with that previous game fresh in his mind, he's then punished for it in game 2. This is crazy, man. 2-0 already here with Zest in the lead. I mean, I think we've been, going for like a half hour here. I kind of expected if this was going to be short, excuse me, it would be Maru just smashing. So I'm very interested in seeing how the rest of the series goes. Now, unsurprisingly, we see Maru with a hidden barracks, kind of a Makarax put outside of his main. But the second rack's in his main, and then a bunker thrown down here. Now, a lot of times when you see stuff like this, it's intended to interfere with the direct pathing of workers that would mine at this location, but
and I mean, you always can throw a Reaper in it, stuff like that. It's annoying to deal with.
Right, and the fact that he can then send one across the map. What do you think about the close proximity hidden barracks here versus it being near the Protoss, it's near Maru?
Well, I think, there's mind games involved with that, so I don't mind it. Like, Maru does that quite often, and I think there's a big reason why he's doing it really often. Because then you can actually just make one right near your opponent and kill him, right? Yeah. Because everyone's going to be like, yeah, he does this all the time. But then suddenly it's something different.
And in the background of all this, the starport is about to finish. We do have Widow Mines making, and a modestly late command center is being planted here as well. But it looks like this should set up for a pretty good Widow Mine drop. And here comes the Hellion to come in. No block at the ramp. It slips through. No battery over here in the main. Oh.
A little bit greedy there from Maru.
Yeah, a bit much there. But again, the probes, they can't mine unless this bunker is eventually wiped out. And, it's not like you can just have these mine in the main, with how optimal workers mine in this game. They're just stuck sitting there idly. So finally, he's able to open this up.
That salvaged at the last possible second, by the way.
Oh, did he get it?
Yeah, you got the money back. Crazy. Really well done.
So he catches the Reapers, but to what effect, really? The Reapers don't really have much functionality past the first couple minutes of the game. And he sees the Widow Mines. Beat me to what I was going to say. Is the real story is, can he actually catch this?
Oh. I thought he was going to get it.
Yeah, this is this weird duel with these two units in the middle of the map.
Zest is like, oh, look at that taunt. That's a taunt. That's a taunt right there.
360s over there.
Dude. And then you saw he just flied right next to the Widow Mine and then walked away. Wow, I can't even speak. He flied next to Widow Mine and walked away.
He flied there with his air army, Artosis.
He's taunting, though, man. It's going to be like, you remember back in the old days, like people would walk their Blink Stalkers up and dance it next to your command center or something as you're dead. That's what that was with the Oracle.
Or Genius just clicking them around like that.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, this game here for Maru, if he doesn't win it, he's out. I mean, almost as we barely even start the last day of Super Tournament, there's a chance that he gets eliminated here. So I mean, everything comes down to whether or not Maru can pull through with this game. He's had so-so success thus far in this game now. And we're getting back into a position that we've seen a couple times already with these two. One that Zest always seems to come out on top of. We've got Zest taking that third base, Maru powering up back on 2. Even the same tech decisions as far as the timing of the Blink, the Forge coming here as well for weapons and possibly cannons. The question is, what is Maru going to do differently that's going to allow him to actually crack the defenses of Zest and punish him before he gets out of control?
Well, honestly, just not taking massive damage in the early game is a great start for Maru, because that was a big part of those last couple games. When you're losing 4 SCVs, 8 SCVs, your harassment's not doing that much, and your opponent's getting a third base that quickly, that's rough. Now, we have a lot of gates being added, +1 on the way. Blink almost done. So there is some possibility we see Zest come over here and mix it up a bit. Well, this 4 Stalker's not going to fare that well against that.
Okay, a little bit of pressure comes out here for Maru. it with the gate over here at the right. This is a slight difference in how he's approaching this here. It looks like Zest wants to come in here a bit earlier and try to smush Maru.
Might be, yeah.
As he's going to try to, I think Maru's probably going to power up and once again take a third here. But this can actually, yeah, see, here we go. He's taking that.
On location third.
Yeah.
More can go wrong with that.
And, I mean, all the gates are about to finish. Charge is halfway out. Charge doesn't take that long to get us an upgrade.
Oh, that pickup.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Looks like he's going to back up a little bit here. Now, keep in mind that command center is being made on site. There's possibilities that you can come in there, kill the SCV, and kill the building that's just making, effectively knocking the Terran back to 2 bases and maybe making a late game situation a lot more impossible. And that's exactly what we have here. Force cancel takes the mine out. Kind of a funny force field.
And Maru cannot even get up there right now. Great force field to slow that, right?
Really going for Maru at the knees there, but now an attack comes in over here, and I don't think there's enough to actually fight this head on, but another warp and drives that back. The Zealots coming in the nick of time.
Yeah, they do eat those mine shots, but there's not enough here to stop that Bioforce. That is for sure. Yeah, the rest of the Stalkers got recalled to the natural. It looks like they come down, but a little bit too late. Yeah. He cancels the third base of Maru, but pays for it.
Yeah, and now it's going to be 2 base to 2 base, and I think that Stalker Warping was pretty cool taking that attack out of the natural, but then his army was too split up, and basically Maru's army keeps winning each fight individually against this fractured Protoss army. And this is now a huge lead for Maru. Now the command center is not destroyed yet, the medevac energy not that high anymore. If he could just get this Nexus and deny mining from this location, I think Maru is going to just catapult himself ahead.
Yeah, Maru is looking like he is so incredibly far ahead here. We don't, like, look at the production tab. Nothing against, like, everything in the whole world being made. Zest is super far behind. He does have an okay amount of Stalkers here, but what is he supposed to get done with that? His economy is smaller, his army is smaller, his tech is smaller. Looking like Maru is going to put his name on the board.
And, I mean, Maru, I think, really intelligently handled the situation. The moment he lost the third, he knew, okay, those Stalkers, they can't be everywhere at once. I think you might want to chill out a little bit here and just head back home and kind of progress a little bit further here because the supplies are starting to get kind of even.
Should Zest just all in?
Maybe.
It's just, he just so doesn't have anything. I'm not sure how you're supposed to come back here. Like, if he already had a Robo or something, maybe. Look at this, he's making 4 sentries.
I think an all-in from Zest is definitely not a terrible idea. He's thinned out some of the reinforcements back over there at the third. He still has that base, or not a base, like an outpost, I guess you could call it, a launching pad for attacks near the Terran's third. I think there's opportunities here, but Maru's created quite a bit of a threat over here outside the main. Now, is this actually enough sentries? I don't feel like this is quite enough for Protoss.
No, this is Zest not having any money, but having a lot of gas. Yeah. And it just, he's going to GG here, I think.
I think you're probably right. I think that
there's nothing left for him.
Yes, that's it. He kind of fizzles out there at the end. I think you're right with the, he has money, a little bit of money and a lot of gas.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to get into tech, and then he had to make nothing but charge lots and try to live, and then he lost a bunch of probes, so it's like all that together. Well, may as well warp in 4 sentries, but you're not gonna find any way to victory after that. Maru with an excellent counter there, right? That looked scary for a moment when Zest warped in all the Blink Stalkers, canceled the third. You look at that, you're like, oh, that's rough because Zest has a third, but Maru runs up, is able to kill that off, is able to basically kill the entire army. Beautifully done.
I love this camera shot with the trophy, the screen of the trophy in the background.
Yeah,
and all the production for that.
All the shiny lights on it almost doesn't even look real. It looks staged.
It looks staged.
Yeah.
This isn't actually an esports match. This is theater, man. Yeah. This is WWE right here. Which is also real. Sorry, everybody. What am I saying?
I can't believe no one's done that in esports yet. Like a completely fixed, staged.
A staged match where we just kind of have them do exaggerated strategies.
Yeah.
They come out with the mics, they're talking trash on each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Zest.
If we made a new esport like that and like had like fake pro gamers like talking trash and like all that, I mean that would be really fun to watch. But the other thing that would be really cathartic for everyone that watches is for once they'd actually be better than the pro gamers. Instead of just thinking that they are.
I'm liking this. We already have like the proper fighting like UFC or boxing. You're right, but we need something like that.
We need something fake.
Gaming equivalent of exaggerated theatrical. Gamer battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like one guy sends 100 zealots and they get killed off, and the other guy sends like 200 Marines but they get killed off. And it's, you know, it's
those highlight videos. Oh my God, man! Absolutely, this is a great idea.
And then one guy gets up and drops the other guy through a folding table. They get back up and they keep macroing. You know.
Imagine the interviews they could do.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, we basically had this back when Hydra was a pro gamer.
We could make them wear masks and capes, and you know, there's a lot we could do here.
Like, did anyone ever believe that he actually left that game against the hallucinated voids? Guys.
Look at the opening, by the way. Mirroring a lot of what we saw in the last game. A barracks hidden, but not far away from Maru's starting location.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, and going for a Reaper here. Double gas into the factory. Zest just the very standard opener here. Cybernetics core into Nexus. And is Maru just going to go command center off this? Or are we going to see further tech?
I'm trying to think of how the early game in that last game went.
We got the Reapers into the bunker and just kind of slowed everything at the natural a little bit.
We did have this moment where the Widow mines were actually being sent across the map, and then there was this weird dance of the Oracle trying to catch the mines, and ultimately the Widow mines just went back home. But we haven't really got to see Maru actually come in and do what he's planned to do early game against the Protoss in any game.
All right, Zest's going to go out and try to catch this Reaper before it gets back. Beautifully placed. And we'll get in there. Annoying for Zest, but, you know, it'll look very much like that previous game. Yeah, looks like he has all the jump ups blocked. We'll be able to spot that Stargate, so that's a nice scout.
Yeah, he'll know what direction the tech is going to be here. And again, these probes are basically paperweights until this bunker can be destroyed. Now, is there any variation in what Maru does behind this? Because, you know, the build is obviously not set in stone. But I don't see any changes just yet.
Oh. Well, here comes a Viking that's going to help out against that Oracle. He did get out with those Reapers, which is kind of nice. I guess since you get the Stargate Scout, not that hard. And the Twilight coming up.
That's right. Twilight Council coming in here. I don't feel like Zest needed to change anything dramatically in the last 3 games. The only thing he really did wrong in Game 3 was he basically warped in way too many Stalkers to kill a command center that was not defended. I think had he warped in like, you know, 6 Stalkers there and attacked that and tried to do damage, and then had the rest with his army, I think he actually could have won the last game. He basically outpositioned himself trying to outposition Maru.
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit too much, and you know, he had those sentries to slow down the charge in from Maru, but the big ramp next to the third was like, just, he couldn't quite cover it.
Yeah.
I still like the idea from Zest, just Maru punished it, so obviously there were holes.
Well, Maru's very good at intuiting solutions when things are very chaotic in the middle of the map. Like, for him to look at the CC being attacked and be like, no, I'm going to just come in here and start attacking the Protoss right now.
Well, there's a special thing about Maru because he micros and macros better than everybody.
Yeah.
Where I think that can be a frustrating thing for, you know, the Terran players that are like, oh, just play kind of like Maru. It's like, the reason why he can punish everybody all the time is because he spends his money better than everyone, expands quicker than everyone, and micros better than everyone. So it's like, you know, honestly, if he has like 3 or 4 less units, either via bad micro or slightly worse macro in that push on the third, Zest might win that game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, stuff snowballs very quickly in different directions when stuff like that happens. So.
Okay, so again, a third base here for the Protoss. Blink finishing up. Again, a lot of the same patterns here as far as growth go on both sides. I really don't think Zest did that much wrong in that last game, you know? I think this has so far been probably the cleanest opening here from Maru. We haven't really had anything catastrophic go down.
Sure, yeah.
But, you know, Zest is really coming here with a very revised style of play, and big victory there to gun down the Oracle. Now, he loses the mine, but I think getting that Oracle is a much bigger deal. You know, that Oracle is so important for tagging medevacs that are going to be moving around the map.
Yeah, for sure.
And basically identifying what the Terran's position is going to be. And there's been a period of time where we didn't have that many Terran players hiding Widow Mines back on the map, but it seems like Maru has really decided this is a good way to approach this against Zest, is to, and you know, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, right? It's a bit of a gamble to place the Widow Mine there. You don't know if the Protoss is going to go through there, but it definitely worked in that moment. And now Zest is really without a very important tool that allows him to survey the Terran's movement.
Well, he's trying to survey it here with these Stalkers. Sees a pretty sizable army coming out, does back up. Now he's going up to 10 gates once again with that charge, and he should, yeah, he'll have charge before this can get across the map. I think Stalker's just going to buy a little bit of time. Beautiful pick-off on the mine. Any pick-offs like that are so huge. Like getting a mine, yeah, that's like one more alive Zealot and a lot of shields on the rest that he saves.
And sometimes those big mine hits, I mean, they completely change the fight, right?
Oh,
so I mean,
much, yeah.
You're really making yourself a lot more secure in that moment. Maru's actually shifting over here to the right, moving, I think, yeah, up this ramp that's not really protected. It looks like he kind of just goes in here.
He thinks he's coming the other direction?
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's way out of position for that.
Yeah, a lot of Zealots not where they need to be right now, and this is already a pretty big deal, taking out this gateway. He's made some hallucinated Archons. I don't even know, man. I think Zest, like, just didn't quite react as fast as he could have.
Yeah, he's coming up with a flank of Zealots here. Those force fields are actually really nice, kind of stopping everything against the Zealots, so no stutter step right there, and Zest will end up holding it. Maru has to retreat. Good thing he brought those Zealots back, I tell you. He had sent those out for trying to see if there was like a third base being taken, some harassment on that, but they saved the day.
Yeah, and I think the hallucinated Archons actually worked out very nicely, tanking a decent amount of damage. I mean, even if you know they're hallucinated, there's so much happening so quickly that just having that sponge of damage is definitely a great way to play it. And so, I mean, now, I don't know, man. I mean, I think Zest is in a pretty desirable spot, right? He's just outside of where Terran needs to expand. Terran, you know, traded some army off, which the Protoss is always going to be fine with, as long as the Protoss can stay up a base. He comes up here with so many Stalkers. He's looking for anything he could snipe, doesn't find it.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the building placement we're seeing here from Maru. You see how he has those Raxes in the front of his natural, and he pulls back into there. It's like you can't attack that with charge lots. So he's being as efficient as he can in a lot of different ways, even like skimping on bunkers when he can. Landing this third base, a little warping of Stalkers to the side, and Zest walks all the way around, takes his high ground. Not sure what he's going to get done.
There's a lot of patience being shown here from Zest. He's just trying to get bigger and bigger leads here in these fights, and I think he's about to set up a sandwich. I mean, he's going to be hitting from two sides. I don't know that Maru can actually survive this.
Yeah. Oh.
There's like 180 degrees of damage right now. The Zealot's spilling and more to come. The CC's lifted off. He sniped some of the medevacs and will then snipe the command center.
Yeah, that command center can't live through that. That is brutal.
I can't believe this. I think that Maru is about to be eliminated here. 143 supply to 99. Protoss not overextending here, staying back. Basically waiting, Maru like a wounded animal. Right now, Zest the Predator just waiting to close in on that final attack to finish him off. I mean, we're seeing Maru limp through this game. I don't know if there really is an out here for Maru either. You know, you stay on two base for a certain amount of time for too long, and things dry up very quickly.
Yeah, things are only going to get worse, too, because we have Colossus Tech on the way.
Yeah.
And that's just like, Zest up a base at this point. Look, if it's 4 base versus 3 base, we still have some play. But the 2-base Terran, like Maru is going to dry up very, very quickly here. He is getting some enhanced shockwaves and some ghosts and everything, so that's good. But can you imagine him ever beating this army, especially when you add in a few Colossi?
I don't think so, man. And, you know, at this point in time, I think Maru has to, I was going to say have one big attack that works. I wasn't even factoring in the SCVs, but I guess that only makes sense, right?
It does.
So
really
it's
does.
now or never. The final attack from Maru to keep him in Super Tournament, or Zest will go on to the finals in the craziest upset yet here.
Dude, this
of
is
the year.
This is a goofy amount of Zealots.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is what?
And notice how he's splitting them. He knows a couple. Oh, he's going to actually bait it out. Oh, what? Oh my God! Well, hold on. I mean, I think he's still. Zest is still in good shape, but let's see how this goes. He actually just screwed up with a key amount of units that are really central to that fight. He like totally mismicroed that. Zealots are going to come in.
Oh my God. Like some nice EMPs do end up going down, and he's cutting through these Zealots surprisingly quickly. There's the Immortal and the Colossi doing a lot. He's going to try to target them down, and he will pick off both. But does Maru actually have enough here?
It's a lot of Marauders, and they're slowing down those Stalkers. He can unpower the Robo that's making the Colossi. Oh no, there's a pylon above there. It still has energy, excuse me. Dodges that shot. Maru going to deny the next Colossus from entering the game. But Maru continues to plow forward here. More Stalkers come out, and he'll be able to cut off reinforcements here, marooning this army inside of the natural. Again, the Protoss Nat is a sacrificable thing at this point in time, because Terran is not going to have any more ways to mine.
Dude, he's just picking off every pylon.
He's unpowering the entire main base.
There's more SCVs coming too, by the way. He's like basically brought everything at this point.
He blinks behind this. The SCVs continue to chase.
This is the most wild thing ever.
I mean, I don't see anything else coming here for Protoss. I mean, this really comes to those Stalkers eating that much damage. That should have been enough to tip the game in his favor. But at the same time, remember, there's a finite amount of energy inside those medevacs. So eventually, you know,
it's like zero.
Oh yeah, it's going to slowly come back, but not at the rate at which Protoss can do damage. So I think there is a way, you know, if his control is good enough to basically micro the Stalkers away and chip away at this army.
Yeah, a couple Archons coming out as well are actually very tough to beat with such a damaged Bioforce.
EMPs come down. The Archon, especially with armies that are this squishy right now. You know, red, yellow, orange HP bars are definitely, another nice snipe there. And I think he's going to come in here with the killing blow. Terran's turning around. Now, there's a very small amount of workers mining right now. We have 15 SCVs on the map. Some of them are headed back home to come back. Although the Protoss's base is in shambles in many parts, only one resource location to mine from, the Protoss is still eons ahead economically.
Yeah, he's going to come up now, and there's not a lot you can do against this, right? Like, he's just going to attack, blink out, and when you're very low economy like this, these blink Stalkers are worth so much.
Yeah, if he could get a snipe on a Ghost, that'd be great.
He's trying.
You know, the problem is, of course, the Protoss isn't going to heal up either in a situation like this, so that damage does become permanent. And, you know, with the Marauders having that concussive shell, they can stagger some of these Stalkers to then have them picked off here. Both players finding their footing again. Maru going to try to come out. No third base for Maru still. He probably is not going to go for any third base other than to float his natural CC somewhere.
I think you're definitely right about that.
I think he literally just tries to overclock his income as much as possible, whereas Zest is going to be comfortable the longer the game goes on. The SCV pull once more.
Oh man, his command centers are literally just like barracks right now. It's all they are for. He wants to be able to just field anything. Oh God.
Nice, beautiful feedbacks there on the medevacs, making them unable to heal. Zealot's stuck on the outside here.
I think it's too much, though. It's just there's so much here for Zest.
I think you're right, Artosis. Zest ultimately manages to come through here, smashing this army, and Zest goes to the finals. I can't believe it. Maru is the first player out the final day of the GSL Super Tournament. Zest bringing the style in here of patience, of calculated decision-making, and ultimately letting the Terran just overstep and then punishing again and again and again.
Wow. He had a little bit of a hard time in the series. We saw it with the Adepts trying to get rid of mines, and then the Stalkers there at the end. So a little bit of problems with his micro, but I mean, he played a brilliant series, and there was some domination in there.
Absolutely.
He looked so scary, PBT.
It was very cool to see. I mean, I welcome a change like this. You know, Maru has been such a mainstay, such an unstoppable force, but today he met his match. And, you know, to be honest, Zest almost closed out Game 3, too, so he's going to be doing great in the finals. Guys, short break. We come back. Dark versus Zoun. Don't go away.